Today I'm aiming to totally fix the dust collection on my old Delta DJ20 joiner. It's a big sturdy 8-inch model and it's definitely worth fixing, but you know, dust collection on it is pretty lousy from the factory. So I'm going to do a 3-part approach. One, to enclose the lower dust chute. That's the main fix. But then there's also 2 solutions to limit chips escaping up around the cutter head. And then later, once all the mods are done, I'll actually remove the upper 2 to see which is the most effective. Now the top of this dust chute is completely open, so there's just no suction developed up by the cutter head. So that's the main problem that we're going to fix today, and we're going to enclose that with some sheet metal. And then my secondary mods will be this little magnetic block that I've added around the cutter head that just keeps the chips from spilling off the front of the machine. It's also a nice little safety add-on. And then finally, I'll show you my simple fence mod to clean up the dust collection there. To get started, you'll need a piece of sheet metal, and those are available at most home centers. The rough size you're looking for is about 12 by 18 inches, and it doesn't have to be terribly thick. I used a 22 gauge sheet metal, but I think as thin as a 26 would be fine. In the past, when I've tried to use very thin metal for dust collection applications, sometimes the fitting will collapse, so you don't want that. But I would say somewhere between the 22 and 26 gauge range would be just fine. You'll need an angle grinder, particularly one with a thin cutoff type blade. A right angle drill will be super helpful for this project to install that sheet metal in your joiner. Although you may be able to get by with just a basic impact driver, it doesn't look like that's too much longer than the right angle version. Other than that, it's just some stuff you might already have kicking around the shop, some 3/16 inch diameter pop rivets, some silicone sealant, and this aluminum HVAC style tape is super helpful for sealing things up. Now I'm no metal worker, so the techniques here is really metalworking for woodworkers, and I'll try to keep it as basic as possible. You want to create 2 folds along the long edges of your sheet metal so that it forms kind of a U-shaped pan, and the overall width on that needs to be right about 8.5 inches. Confirm on your joiner, but that's where it came out for my DJ20. It needs to be right at 8.5 inches for this pan to slip inside the dust chute. Now I don't have a sheet metal brake, so I had to get a little creative with this, but basically what I found is if you use an angle iron for a straight edge and then take a grinder with a cutting blade and just run it down the angle iron and create a little score mark there. Do that a few times, get to know your material so you're not cutting through it obviously, but give it a good score line and then it'll fold pretty naturally by hand. So get those 2 long folds established, and if things don't come out exactly at 90 degrees, don't worry, you can work it a little bit with a hammer and get things straightened out. And then you'll need to trim the piece to overall length. And for me that was 17 1/16 of an inch. Now you can confirm that the dimension matches on your joiner, but get that cut to length and we'll do some test fitting. I also trimmed the sides at an angle. This turned out to be optional, but it does keep things nice and clean and out of your way. And I don't know if I got lucky, but the test fit went in just perfectly on the first try. Now I've seen guys go in and gut this whole chute with an angle grinder, and this is actually very well made. It's a heavy gauge steel, and it seemed like a shame to ruin that. So my goal was kind of twofold in here. I wanted to enclose the top of this inside the chute, but I also wanted to decrease the volume too. I'm running a 4-inch dust port on this, and it seems like it would have to kind of lung out to exhaust all this open space in here. So instead of running this on the top of the current dust chute, I'm going to enclose it somewhere down here in the middle. And that also conveniently aligns with the port on the outside of the stand, as well as the opening for the cutter head inside. Hey, if you're a subscriber to the Thoughtful Woodworker channel, I'd like to sincerely thank you, and if not, let's get you on board. Subscribe to the channel and check out more videos like this on repairing your favorite old tools. If a test fitting of your metal pan looks good and you're happy with how everything looks, go ahead and pull it out and pre-drill through that flange. I made 4 holes on each side for pop rivets. All right, so the lid goes in this way, and it needs to fit inside the factory chute, so let's see how we did. Well, it's a nice snug fit anyway. Yeah, that feels like it's going to work great. Then you'll need to reinstall the pan and use our right angle drill to drill through the factory chute, and that'll give you access to add some pop rivets. Now I just used 3/16 aluminum pop rivets, and Honestly, it's easiest to add those from the outside of the chute. Even if it does protrude slightly into the chute, I think that'll be a very minor drawback and we'll still get excellent dust collection. And that last rivet, that'll give us a nice permanent repair to this dust collection problem. Now there's pretty good access with the panels removed along the side and the top to get a silicone sealant in place just to close off any air leaks. And with other locations, you may find it more convenient to use that HVAC style aluminum tape. And to seal the chute seemed like a good place to use that aluminum tape, but the final thing I did inside the chute was actually to use a block of foam and close off one of the spaces behind the cutter head where you really don't need good suction. So with that closed off, we'll test out that and I'll show you those other two mods up closer to the cutter head. And I'll reinstall the dust chute. This one I'll leave a little bit loose for now just to ground that dust collection. And we'll button up the access panels. Now those holes are slotted at the bottom, so you can actually leave those screws in the machine and just drop it in place. Remember to check out that Helix upgrade video for this machine as well. Next, let's look at this mod on the front of the cutter head here, and for that, let's pull the guard off. Now to do that, you only want to loosen this screw on the front. Don't loosen the screw on the top because that'll reset your spring tension. If you just loosen this one set screw, it'll let you pull the whole guard off, and then when you replace it, your tension will be maintained. There's that Helix cutter head. Very nice upgrade for the DJ20. Widely available. You can get that from Bird Tools, and it just makes all the difference to avoiding tear out when you're joining. But on this mod, it's just a magnetic add-on, and this one only makes sense if you like to remove the rabbiting ledge like I do. Every joiner I've ever had, first thing I do is I pull off that rabbiting ledge. The reason being is I like to occasionally joint boards that are wider than the capacity of the cutter head, and you know, the rabbiting ledge will just get in your way if you do that, so this lets me use it however I want to. But as a result of that, you know, the cutter head is kind of exposed at the front. For dust collection, it lets chips pop out occasionally, but it also leaves it more exposed than I like, and this little device kind of handles both problems. It's just a piece of hardwood, 2 inches by 6 inches. It's got a little recess hollowed out underneath to fit around the bearing block of that cutter head, and then it's got 3 magnets inside and 2 on the face, and so that just snaps into place. It'll keep you clear of the cutter head, but it's down below the surface of the joiner, so it still lets me do that special technique to joint wider boards. And then as far as that pocket, you'll size it to fit your joiner, but mine was, oh that's fun, measuring magnets, 3 9/16 long by 1 7/16 wide and just 3/4 deep. And then the magnets are just 1/2 inch rare earth magnets from Rockler that I epoxied in place. And with the 5 magnets like that, seems to have plenty of holding power. And the secret to a perfect paint match on these old Delta joiners is some old gray paint plus 19 drops of blue food coloring. Yeah, I'm serious, that's what I did. And then the final mod is a piece of foam that I actually inserted behind the fence. It doesn't get in the way if you have to slide the fence forward, although you may have to pull that out if you like to angle your fence. I do that exactly never. I like to use this dense foam for a lot of different dust collection mods around my shop, and this stuff starts life as a kneeler, you know, something to kneel on in the garage or garden, and you can get them from Harbor Freight and elsewhere, but it cuts really nice at the bandsaw. You can shape it however you need, and it usually stays in place for a friction fit. I'm using that for this fence mod, and I also used a piece of that to close off the port inside that chute, so a lot of great uses for this dense foam. And this is what the finished piece needs to look like. It's about 9 inches long. The width on that is about 2.5. Now naturally this foam comes at about 1.5 thick, and that works fine for this. You can see the natural texture on that I didn't have to cut. Just a 45-degree angle down one of the long edges, and you have it made. Just simply slide that in behind your fence and it'll stay put for regular use. I don't know if they all had such a gaping hole on the fence, but that really seems like a manufacturing error to me. It was kind of unevenly shaped and larger than it needed to be, but that may be part of the problem with my dust collection here, but that piece of foam should definitely help. Now when that guard goes back on, you'll see that it automatically maintains that same tension you had before just by tightening up that single set screw. There it is. Well, that looks promising. Let's see how it does. Well, I gotta say, with all three mods, I am ecstatic with how this performs. I got really excited about it, but take that with a grain of salt because I get pretty excited pretty easily about dust collection mods. I'm always working on things like that in the shop, but I tell you what, this one worked. It took half a Saturday, cost me maybe 40 bucks in material, so I would say that's well worth doing. And I want to pull off the two mods by the cutter head, that block of foam in the back, and this magnetic guard up front. So we'll take those off and compare how that affects dust collection. So basically this will be assessing how that dust chute modification works on its own without the topside mods. So there was a steady trickle of sawdust making its way out the back without that foam mod on the fence, but I tell you what, still leaps and bounds above the stock configuration. But I would say with any joiner, one weakness is trying to joint with your fence set to the maximum width. So let's slide the fence in a little bit and see how that compares. So without those two extra mods, I am noticing a return of some of these problems I had before. So for me, I'm going to keep all three mods working together and enjoy that fabulous dust collection. We'll get this moved back into its normal spot and get the eye vac hooked up. That should be good. I like being able to see a little cast iron showing through. Usually all I see is white oak chips. Eye vac gate, close thyself. So if you've got an old DJ20 or a model similar to this and you're just not happy with the dust collection, these are mods I can highly recommend. Be sure to drop down to the description box. There I'll have links for you to all the tools I use to complete this mod, as well as some of my video resources like how to install a Helix head on this joiner.